Hello everyone, welcome to Hashi Talks 2025, and today I will be presenting on leveling up your Terraform migration in the modern era. So my name is Meghna and I'm a cloud engineer with about 3 years of experience in the infra space. I worked with e-commerce and industrial applications as well. So today we'll explore how Terraform Migrate can help organizations transition from your local Terraform Community Edition to Terraform Enterprise or Terraform Cloud efficiently and securely. So, what is the problem statement, right? So many organizations rely on self-managed Terraform, but as infra scales, they face several problems. So one of them is state management. Managing the Terraform state file becomes extremely complex when multiple developers are making changes continuously. And this obviously introduces some kind of risks like state file corruption or loss of critical data, right? The other major problem is concurrency conflicts. A lot of developers work to update the infrastructure at the same time, and this can lead to conflicts and errors. So these concurrency issues can lead to a lot of resource contention and unexpected behavior in your production, which you don't want that to happen. So the other one is also version control. So tracking changes to this code can be challenging, especially when multiple team members are involved. So difficulty in managing these different versions can often lead to inconsistencies and confusion, right? Which obviously complicates the collaboration process. So what's the impact, right? So the challenge is it's not just about how developers collaborate and code, but it has a huge efficiency and infrastructure quality related issues. So some implications are like mismatched infrastructure, which can result in operational risks, including outages and downtime. And the other one is time spent resolving these conflicts can slow down the development process drastically, which obviously impacts project timelines and deliverables. So the third is overall quality and the reliability of the infrastructure can be compromised due to these issues, and the inconsistent development deployments can lead to unpredictable behavior in production environments, right? Which obviously affects user experience and trust in the system. So before we explore Terraform Migrate, I just want to talk a little bit about Terraform Cloud and what it does. So Terraform Cloud is basically a managed service that provides a collaborative environment for teams to manage their infra as code. So it has several key features, one of them being remote state management. So Terraform Cloud securely, stores your state files and it ensures that they're accessible and protected, obviously. So collaboration, it allows teams to work together seamlessly with features like integrated version control and access management. It also has automated workflows. So what does that even mean? Like it automates the execution of your Terraform plans and applies, and it reduces manual intervention, right? And the potential for errors. And it also has other features like policy enforcement. So it enables organizations to enforce these compliance and security policies across their infrastructure. So understanding Terraform Cloud is essential as it basically is the foundation for many organizations transitioning to HCP Terraform or Terraform Enterprise. So it is designed to simplify the management of Terraform workflows and state through automation and collaboration features. So it you could still run your Terraform locally, but now it integrates with Terraform Cloud for state file management. It also versions and backs up your state files, allowing you to track changes and you can revert back to previous infra changes whenever you want. Okay. So that's a little bit about HCP Terraform. So we've talked a little bit about this, but there are a lot of benefits like drift detection, which means it identifies differences between your actual and desired infra states. Role-based access control, it restricts access based on user roles and permissions to enhance security. It also has version control integration, which is connecting Terraform with version control systems to track your changes. It has remote state management, which is storing Terraform state files in a secure location, and policy as code observability, which is basically monitoring and enforcing compliance with infra policies through defined rules, right? So why do we even need a Terraform migrate, right? So managing these state files securely at scale with Community Edition can be quite challenging. So teams and organizations choose to transition to HCP Terraform or Terraform Enterprise. Uh, and one significant hurdle they face is handling these state files during the migration process, right? This brought about Terraform Migrate, which is basically a tool to designed to automate the migration of state files. And beside facilitating state migration, it also streamlines workspace setup and it aids in modular refactoring, right? So what it does, it reconfigures your backend seamlessly. It ensures security and compliance by enforcing policies. It facilitates collaboration through workspaces. So this slide is about use cases and execution. So it has basically two use cases in today's scenario. One is migration, and the other is state refactoring, which assists in re-architecting existing workspaces by consolidating or splitting these state files. So this is useful for large-scale environments with complex interdependencies. So I've displayed here the basic setup and workflow to perform a migration with TF Migrate using the CLI. So you can manually download and install TF Migrate, and you can do TF Migrate prepare, which scans the working directory and generates Terraform config to migrate your state, right? And the other is TF Migrate execute. So this directs Terraform to run your init plan and apply commands to migrate to HCP Terraform. So at the end of this migration, it displays a summary of whatever like it migrated and links to the workspace it's created. Okay, so this is an overview of the Terraform migration process. So first, we should have our AWS CLI credentials configured. So what I will be doing in today's demo is I have already defined my infrastructure in Terraform. I will be initializing it and deploying it locally. So I just want everybody to see how it can be directly migrated from your local running code in the cloud to your Terraform cloud, managing the state files in the Terraform cloud. And then post that, we will be configuring Terraform Cloud as our backend. And then we will run Terraform login, which basically connects your Terraform Cloud and your Terraform local. And once you run Terraform Migrate and all your state files are transferred successfully, you can validate your migration by either testing, any of your infra that you set up, and then we will be destroying old resources, and we will just clean up the environment, and that will be the end of today's demo. So I think I will first dive into the demo before I talk about the best practices. So today's demo is to give you a better understanding of how Terraform Migrate works in practice. I'll walk you through a live demo right now, and we'll briefly cover migrating your state files and setting up a workspace and how to set up Terraform Cloud. This will showcase the tool's capabilities and how it can be applied to real world scenarios, right? So let's just dive into the demo and see Terraform Migrate in action. Okay, so as you can see on my screen, I'm currently working with the Terraform Community Edition. So my AWS CLI creds are already defined, configured locally. So that allows me to interact with your AWS resources directly from the terminal. So here's a quick look at my Terraform config files, right? So in the main TF file, since this is a small architectural application, I haven't used modules. You see that I've created a multi-tier architecture consisting of like a networking layer, which is your VPC, subnets, and internet gateway. Your compute layer, which is my EC2 instance launched using an autoscaling group and a launch template. My load balancing layer, to distribute your traffic. Database layer, which is my RDS instance over here, and my security layer, which is a security group, to control the access. So let's talk about migrating the setup in Terraform Cloud. But before that, let me just So I want to deploy my resources right now on cloud so that with state files being local, just so I can give you a better picture of when the migration happens, like what exactly happens during that time. So I'm just gonna do Terraform apply. Okay, 12 resources to add. Yes. Okay, so all my resources right now are being applied and created and provisioned in the cloud. So this is going to take a couple of minutes. Just give it some time. Okay, so now my resources are deployed. Give me a minute. Okay, so now we will just check if all of them are here, right? So just do Terraform state list. Okay, I can see everything. I will just go to the console to just make sure that it's there. Okay, so this is our EC2 instances. Do we have our security groups? Yes, we do. Do we have our target groups? Do we have our VPC? Just give me a minute. Okay, so I think all of our resources are deployed correctly. Yeah, it is. Okay, so now what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be taking the load balancers DNS. Okay, because I want to curl through that and check if it's responding, right? So I'll just copy this and I'll just open this and then just paste this. Okay. Okay, so yeah, it is working correctly. So now that we've done that, let me just quickly go back to our code. Okay, what we're going to be doing right now is we have to log in, do a Terraform login so that when we're migrating to Terraform Cloud, we need an API token. So we're going to be doing that. What it will do is it's going to prompt you to open a browser and you have to authenticate with Terraform Cloud. And then you need to copy the generated API token and paste it back into the terminal. Okay. So I will just show you. I will do a Terraform login. It's going to take a couple of minutes. Yeah. So just click yes. And then now it's going to force me to put my API token. Okay. So I'm just going to do that. Okay. This is the link for the API token. I think I already have it here. Okay, I'm just going to generate a new one, copy it, and then go back here, paste it here. Okay, so I have successfully linked it with the Terraform Cloud. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be verifying our local Terraform deployment just once again so that we can continue to migrate into this. So I'll just quickly go here, take this, just refresh it. Okay, it's still all good. We're all good. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna prepare the migration with tf migrate prepare command. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. Okay, it's going to check for environment readiness. So basically what this does is it is going to automatically like create your workspace, your organization on the Terraform cloud, and it's going to generate it for you. Okay. So it's important to know that we can migrate state using other methods, which is CLI API, and this is a new way called Terraform TF migrate tool. Okay, so The issue is in CLI, we usually have to configure a backend, which is what I actually did in this project first. And I couldn't figure out what was going wrong because every time I tried to use the tf migrate command, it would show me that I had no configured backend, right? And if I configured a backend like this particular one, and I reconfigured it, like I initialized it, it would automatically migrate the state to Terraform Cloud. So I wouldn't be able to use the TF migrate tool, right? And I did not understand for a long time because surprisingly, it is not there in the documentation anywhere. Because usually when we do code Terraform, locally, we tend to not do like write this piece of code. So it was just shocking to me because this was not there. And I was just wondering what I was doing wrong because I kept getting an error message that kept telling me that it had no backend. And eventually I ended up understanding that I am supposed to put the backend as local and otherwise it's not going to do it. So now that we have our Terraform backend local put, like we can run the TF migrate. Before you do this, make sure that you have the latest version of TF migrate, and where you can get that is, just give me a minute. So here you have your installation commands over here. You can do this. I downloaded the Linux version and I'm running it on a WSL. So you can do that as well. This will not run on older Terraform versions. So please make sure that you update and upgrade your Terraform version. So now what I'll be doing is I will be using TF migrate prepare. Okay. So now what this is doing is it's going to recursively scan the entire directory for Terraform state files, and then it's going to generate a new config to migrate the state to HCP Terraform or Terraform Enterprise. Okay. So you just have to do TF hyphen migrate prepare. Okay. And it is fetching the migration configuration for the directory. So, you can also make it prompt other things for you, like you can create a new branch and stuff. You can also if you would like it to automatically create a pull request with the updated code change, that is possible as well. So what it does is once you run it, it's going to generate a new Terraform config in the HCP migrate config directory to perform the migration. So this configuration creates the following resources. It basically has one workspace per state file. It has one project to store all workspaces. It also creates a new local Git branch if you responded to the prompt to create a new branch with yes. And if you prompted to create a pull request with yes, it is going to make that also. So this CLI tool basically adds the generated config to the .gitignore file that you have so that the configuration is not committed to source control. Okay. So it creates a structure in HCP Terraform basically. Okay. And I'm just going to quickly show you that. So if you have a single configuration, a single state, it's going to have a single HCP workspace. If you have a single config, multiple states, it's going to have one HCP workspace per state. Multiple configs, one state per config, it's going to give you one HCP workspace per configuration. Okay. So I think our config is ready. Okay. So now what we'll be doing, we are going to do the execute command. So that goes like df migrate execute. It's running a command. Okay. So it's going to run your init command. It ran it. It's now running the plan command. Okay, so when you do tf migrate prepare, it also asks you if it should create a local branch named this. If you do not do this and you go ahead with tf migrate prepare, it will create the configuration for you, but it will definitely not do your execute command because it will tell you that there's an error with the PAT token, which is a personal access token. So it is better that you initialize a Git repository and you push your code to that, update your code with whatever you have here. and then and then continue to do your TF execute. So right now I'm just doing the TF migrate prepare again, and then I'll just click yeah, no, just to skip it. Okay, so once you run TF migrate prepare, it's going to ask you a couple of questions, and it's going to ask you if you want to, skip get operations or not. That's totally up to you. Now, if you see, I've ran the execute command, and you also have to use a GitHub token for this. So you have to create a GitHub token, which I'll show you how to do in a few minutes. But once you do that token, you have to export it as an environment variable. And then you need to do TF migrate execute. Okay. And it shows you like apply command estimated expected completion time by 11:21. And then I will just quickly show you. Yeah, I can't find that. Yeah, so this is what was created 24 minutes ago, if you see. So this it created the everything on its own, and if you can see, these are the resources that it has over here. So the migration is basically complete. Uh, So this TF migrate execute command basically just created the project and workspace in HCP Terraform for us. And what it did is it migrated the existing state and updated the config to basically replace our backend block with the cloud block. So if you respond to the prompt in the prepare window to create a pull request, then the migrate also creates a pull request after it completes the migration. So when Terraform Migrate completes the migration, it will display the number of workspaces migrated and to each Terraform workspace and a link to the GitHub pull request. Okay. Uh, So a couple of best practices, just try to break down your Terraform configuration into smaller and reusable modules. This enhances readability and maintainability. Use version control. So store your Terraform config in version control system to track changes, collaborate effectively, and roll back if necessary. And third is environment management with workspaces. You can utilize the workspaces to manage different environments and ensure each workspace has its own isolated state. The other is obviously store your AWS credentials and other sensitive data in Terraform's cloud environments, variables, or secrets. Okay. And obviously validate it before changing. Error handling and troubleshooting. So familiarize yourself with common errors and resolutions. And obviously post migration check, validate that your resources are functioning as expected after migration. Check the state in Terraform Cloud and verify resources in AWS. Okay. And maintain clear documentation for yourself. I cannot stress on this enough to ensure consistency. And before we do any, so I did want to show a couple of things. So whatever GitHub credentials that you're configuring in your, normal local workspace, you need to configure those in the secrets on your Terraform cloud. And also other things you have to remember to use your backend as local inside inside our code. And a couple of other things actually. First, I wanted to check if the application is, it's gonna, okay, so it is working after our migration. Just had to verify that. But make sure you do that, and also make sure that you export your GitHub token over here because you're definitely going to get that error if you do not do that. I would also say make sure that you have a clear record of what you're doing because the TF Migrate documentation is not very extensive. Just make sure that you're careful when you're transferring state files from remote to cloud to local or local to cloud. I did that a couple of times actually. A lot of steps involved with that. There is not a lot of you know AI help with that as well. So I think it's important to just go through stuff. Just there is a lot of stuff going on with the version control repository as well. If you want to integrate your version control system, you have to go through, creating the token, which is what I actually wanted to show you guys. Okay, so let me just quickly go to GitHub. Right, and let me go to repositories. Actually, you can just go to settings here and scroll down to developer settings, and you can click your personal access tokens, and then click your tokens, the classic ones. You just click generate new token, and then you can just put a note expiration. You can give it like certain kinds of scope. For in this context, we need it to have the repo scope to be able to, use version control on HCP Cloud. So once you create that, just make sure you export your token, right? So yeah, I think that's it. I hope that Terraform TF Migrate is a tool that you all will try, and it is definitely crucial when you're changing your backend configuration to ensure proper state management. It, yeah, simplifies the migration process, and it makes it slightly easier to manage the infra across different backends. If you guys have any questions, please drop them in the chat below on YouTube. I will definitely respond to them. I think we're running short of time. So please connect with me on LinkedIn if you guys have any questions. I will probably document this and post it on my LinkedIn profile. But thank you. Yeah. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day and enjoy all of your other talks. Thank you.